Hi there, it's me again. We are going to see today the difference between gerund and infinitive and when to use one or another in a sentence, okay? First of all, both gerund and infinitive can be the way we name an action or a verb, right? So when the verb becomes a noun, we can use both gerund or infinitive. In Spanish, we use infinitive, but in English we have both possibilities, gerund or infinitive. First of all, okay, you must revise the rules for the spelling of the gerund, how to make gerunds. We make gerunds in English by adding ing to the verb in infinitive, and remember these 3 rules of thumb, and there's another fourth rule, which is just this, okay? So first of all, we add ing to verbs like look to make looking, right? When the verb ends in e, we drop the final e and add ing, so the final e disappears. Love, loving, right? And there's a third rule, that it's when we have a verb ending consonant preceded by vowel, one single consonant and one single vowel, and the vowel is stressed, we double the consonant to add ing. In this fourth rule, that is the weird one, is that when the verb ends in ie, like die, it changes to dying, right? So ie changes to y, and we add ing on top of that. Remember, nothing happens when the verb ends in y, like study or play, no matter if the y is preceded by vowel or consonant. Nothing changes, and so we stick to rule number 1 for those, all right? So study, studying, play, playing, nothing happens. It's rule number 1, right? We only add ing to them, and there's no other change. Okay. As far as the infinitive is concerned, remember we have 2 forms, both in negative and affirmative, okay? So to look and not to look, right? It's the verb with the infinitive with to, right? To look, and the infinitive without to, right? And we will use the infinitive with to in some cases, and we will use this one, or bare infinitive, or infinitive without to, in other cases. Okay, so shall we start talking about the gerund, right? Okay, we are talking about gerund and to infinitive, because it's sometimes when we don't know which one to use, one or the other. Okay, we use the gerund generally as a subject of the sentence. However, infinitive is allowed in this case, but it's more common to use the gerund. So we would say, reading relaxes me. Reading in this case is the subject, is an action, and we see it as the subject of relaxes me, right? So reading relaxes me. Studying is very hard, right? We use gerund when we have to use the infinitive, so when we have to use the verb as a subject, sorry. We also use gerund after prepositions, always after prepositions. The preposition can be preceded by an adjective, like here, I'm interested in studying maths, for example, or it can be together or preceded by or being part or be part of a phrasal verb. Keep on, for example. It doesn't matter. It's the same rule. After prepositions, we use gerund, right? So we would say, brush your teeth before going to bed, right? Brush your teeth before going to bed, okay? Or she's good at reading, okay? We can use gerund. We use gerund after prepositions, all right? Another use of the gerund is after certain verbs, okay? And in this case, we have some verbs that are followed by infinitive or by gerund, right? So we have to be careful because sometimes, depending on the verb that goes before them, it should be infinitive or gerund. All right? Okay. Verbs like, love, prefer, or hate, as you can see, are listed here and also in the infinitive side because they can be used with both verbs, right? But there are some others like can't stand or don't mind. They are in negative because we normally use them negatively. Or suggest, deny, imagine, involve, miss. They are always followed by gerund, right? And there is like some other expressions like there's no use, or it's no good, or there's no point, or it's no point. That are always used by are always followed by a gerund. It's no use talking to him. It's the meaning is like no merece la pena hablar con él. Okay. So this is as far as gerunds are concerned. Let's see the infinitives. We use infinitives when we have an adjective, right? Remember, many adjectives are followed by prepositions. So when the adjective follows a preposition, then the rule is not infinitive. It could be gerund, right? So interested, for example, is the case. We have the adjective interested is always followed by the preposition in, or the adjective good is always, it can be followed by the preposition at, right? So when the adjective has a preposition attached to it, the rule is after prepositions we use gerund. However, some adjectives like glad, pleased, difficult, easy, and many, many more, actually most of them, do not have prepositions associated. So when it's the case, this is the case, we use infinitive. I would say, I'm pleased to meet you. So remember, when the adjective has a preposition, we use gerund. When it doesn't have a preposition, then we use infinitive. We also use infinitive to express purpose, right? When we want to say the reason why, when we have to say why we do things or with what intention, we had a plan to do it, right? So the intention is to do it, right? And also, as I said, with the same as with gerunds, we have after certain verbs, some verbs of them, some in the list we have included afford, agree, arrange, choose, help, manage, offer, plan, hope, would like, and also the ones you have in both places, like, hate, love, prefer, are followed by infinitive in this case. You might find lists everywhere, right? Everywhere on the internet, you might find different lists with some verbs included in those lists. You have just here the one you have in the book, and which I consider the most important for the level B1. We have more uses of the infinitive. After quantifiers, like to, enough, plenty, a lot of. So words that mean quantity, we use infinitive after them. There's a lot to see, right? And after words like something or anything, anywhere, nothing, right? There's nothing to do. Also after question words like what or how or when, I don't know what to do. And with superlatives. She was the first to come, alright? Well, as I said before, we have like the most complex thing is when to use gerund or infinitive when we have a verb, right? Remember, like, love, prefer, start, begin can be followed by both, and the meaning is the same. There's no difference in meaning, right? No different meaning at all. I like to dance, I like dancing. Or she has started to run, she has started running. It's the same thing, alright? However, some verbs like try or remember can be followed by both with different meaning. It means when we are using gerund, the meaning of try changes, and when we are using to, the meaning of try when we are using infinitive, alright? So let's read this. I tried taking paracetamol for my headaches, but it didn't work. The verb try here means just prove to see if it worked, right? It didn't mean any effort. I didn't have to perform anything difficult in order to see if it worked or not. Just prove, right? Just see if it worked, right? However, when we are using infinitive, the verb try, the meaning of the verb try is to make an effort. I tried to study harder, but I did not pass. It means I made an effort. I really made an effort. It really meant an effort to me, okay? So try here is different meaning, right? It has two different meanings depending on whether it is followed by gerund or by infinitive. Another example that you have in your books of different meanings is with the verb remember. So remember with infinitive has the meaning of don't forget to do it. Remember to call me when you arrive. So when you arrive, you call me, alright? So you have to remember at this time, at this moment, or even when you arrive or even before, don't forget to do it, okay? So remember to call me. This is the most common use, right? In Spanish we would say, recuerda llamarme, okay? Recuerda llamarme cuando llegues. No olvides. Remember with ing has a different meaning. Is have a memory of something in the past, right? So I remember swimming in the river with my cousin when I was 8. The meaning is I have a memory from the past. So I remember doing it means it's something I did in the past and I remember now. Okay? And that's all. That's all in terms of differences between gerund and infinitive.